Sometimes it feels like no matter how hard you try to push through, nothing seems to work. No matter how disciplined you are, no matter how early you wake up, no matter how much you sacrifice, it feels like you're running, but not moving, fighting, but not winning, giving everything, and still coming up short. That kind of feeling makes you wonder if you have anything left to give to this dream, this vision, this persistent whisper inside you that keeps insisting there is something more waiting on the other side of this struggle. And that whisper won't leave you alone. You've been here before, haven't you? On the edge of quitting, on the verge of saying, maybe this just isn't meant for me. Maybe I misread the signs. Maybe I'm not capable. Maybe I've already given everything I have. But here's what you don't realize. That feeling, that bone-deep exhaustion, that overwhelming urge to give up, that suffocating sense that you can't take one more step forward, that is not a sign you're failing. It's the sign you're about to break through. Because right before breakthrough, everything intensifies. The doubt gets louder, the obstacles get bigger, the path gets darker, and your mind does this thing where it floods you with every possible reason to stop. Every past failure, every embarrassment, every rejection, every voice that ever told you that you weren't enough. It feels personal. It feels targeted. It feels like the universe itself is against you. But it's not random. It's not punishment. It's not the universe telling you to turn back. It's the final test, the last contraction before the birth, the deepest darkness before dawn, the pressure before the diamond forms. Because breakthrough does not happen when things are easy. It happens when you are pushed to the absolute edge of your capacity, and then you take one more step anyway. The step you don't think you have in you. The step you take while shaking. The step you take while doubting. The step you take with tears in your eyes. That is the step that changes everything. Think about every major transformation you've ever witnessed. The caterpillar does not gently transition into a butterfly. It doesn't casually grow wings overnight. It dissolves completely inside the cocoon. It becomes liquid. It breaks down to its most fundamental elements before it reorganizes into something capable of flight. Total breakdown before total breakthrough. Right now, you might feel like you're dissolving, like everything you built is falling apart, like all your effort has been leading to nothing. But that's not what's happening. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt at a cellular level, at a spiritual level, at an identity level. You are becoming the version of yourself that can handle what's coming. And here's what happens right before you finally break through. Life gives you the opportunity to choose yourself one more time. Not when it's easy, not when you feel energized, not when you have clarity, not when you have support, but when you feel like you have nothing left, except a raw, stubborn refusal to abandon what you know is true in your core. That is when breakthrough happens. When you keep going, not because you can see the finish line, but because quitting would betray something sacred inside you. When you show up on the day you have no motivation, when you take action when every emotion is screaming at you to stay still, when you choose faith over evidence, hope over history, belief over circumstances, those moments, the ones that feel invisible, are not small. They are the moments that tip the scale, because life is not waiting for you to be perfect. It is waiting for you to be committed. Committed enough to want this more than comfort, more than certainty, more than the illusion of safety. And you are proving that commitment every single day you wake up and try again. Every moment you resist the temptation to numb out, to shrink back, to settle for less than what you know you're capable of. You think you're barely surviving, but you're actually transitioning. You are shedding an old identity and stepping into your higher self. Right before breakthrough, you'll be tempted to believe all your effort was wasted, that you're further from your goal than when you started, that you should have chosen a different path. But look closer, look at who you've become. You don't think the same. You don't tolerate the same. You don't accept the same excuses. You've developed muscles you didn't have before. Resilience, discernment, emotional endurance, faith that exists independent of circumstances. The struggle has not been keeping you from your breakthrough. It has been preparing you for it. Because what's coming requires someone tested, refined, strengthened. The version of you from a year ago could not handle what's about to happen. That version had the dream, yes. Had the desire, yes. But not the depth. That version still needed validation, still needed reassurance, still needed proof before belief. That version would have self-sabotaged the moment things began to improve, would have questioned whether they deserved the opportunity, would have felt like an imposter standing at the door of something bigger. That version would have shrunk back into familiar patterns the second growth started to feel uncomfortable, because comfort felt safer than expansion. But this version of you, the one who has endured silence when you expected applause, the one who kept working when no one noticed, the one who has survived nights that felt endless and mornings that felt heavy, the one who has been knocked down repeatedly and still found a reason to stand back up, the one standing here right now, exhausted, stretched thin, emotionally worn, but not defeated. This version is different. This version has scars. This version has perspective. This version has learned how to breathe through chaos instead of running from it. This version is ready. And here's how you'll know the breakthrough is close. Reality won't explode overnight. It won't arrive with fireworks and dramatic music. It will begin quietly, subtly, small shifts, unexpected conversations, a message at the right time, an idea that suddenly clicks, a door that opens where there was once a wall. The right people will begin to appear, not loudly, but intentionally. Opportunities will present themselves, not perfectly, but clearly. Things that once felt impossible will start to feel reachable. Not easy, but reachable. And here's the part no one tells you. You still won't feel ready. You won't wake up one morning overflowing with confidence. You won't suddenly feel fearless. You won't feel like you've arrived. You will feel exactly like you do right now. Tired, uncertain, still carrying doubts, still wondering if you're doing it right. And that is precisely when you will have to step forward anyway. To say yes when your voice shakes. To accept the opportunity even when your mind lists every reason you're unqualified. To act before you feel prepared. To receive before you feel worthy. Because breakthrough does not wait for readiness. It responds to alignment. Alignment with your commitment. Alignment with your growth. Alignment with the quiet but unshakable decision to not quit. And whether you see it or not, you have already proven that alignment. Every single day you didn't quit, you proved it. Every time you chose courage over comfort, you proved it. Every moment you got back up when staying down would have been easier, you proved it. Every silent battle you fought without telling anyone, you proved it. That is not small. That is not insignificant. That is everything. That is the invisible work, the private battles, the silent victories that no one applauds, but that reshape your identity. That is the work that builds unshakable foundations. So if you're reading this right now, exhausted, doubting yourself, wondering if you have what it takes to continue, questioning whether this path is worth it, this is your sign. Not that the struggle instantly disappears, not that everything becomes effortless, not that fear vanishes, but that you are closer than you think. The darkness you're experiencing is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of proximity. The pressure you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. You are standing at the threshold, one decision away, one step away, one refusal to quit away from everything changing. And that choice? It is not dramatic. It is not a grand announcement. It is not some massive leap into the unknown. It is simply deciding one more time not to quit, to take the next small step, to send the email, to make the call, to show up again, to try one more time, to choose hope when hopelessness feels logical, to keep going when stopping feels justified, to believe when doubt feels louder than faith. That is all breakthrough requires. Not perfection, not certainty, not endless confidence. Just one more day of not quitting. Just one more act of courage. Just one more step taken while afraid. And you can do that. You've done it before. You've survived things you once thought would break you. You can do it again. Right now, I want you to write something. Not for me, but for yourself. for the version of you that almost gave up, for the version of you that cried in silence, for everyone else standing at the same invisible threshold. Write this: I'm not quitting. My breakthrough is here, not as a wish whispered in doubt, not as fragile hope that depends on circumstances, but as a declaration, as a line drawn in the sand, as a commitment to the person you are becoming, the one who has fought too hard, endured too much, and grown too deeply to turn back now. The version of you that cried in silence but didn't collapse. The version of you that questioned everything but still kept moving. The version of you that lost, learned, adjusted, and tried again. You didn't come this far to retreat at the edge, because when you write those words, something shifts, not outside of you first, but within you. It may be subtle, it may be quiet, but it is powerful. You are not just engaging with motivation. You are not just agreeing with inspiring words. You are making a decision, a conscious one, a deliberate one, a defining one. You are closing the door to retreat, not because you aren't tired, not because you don't feel doubt, but because you refuse to betray the growth that has already taken place inside you. You are aligning yourself with a future that has been waiting patiently for you to believe you deserve it. That future has always been there, waiting for your self-concept to catch up, waiting for your identity to expand, waiting for you to stop asking, "Can I?" and start declaring, "I will." You are stepping into the identity of someone who does not fold under pressure, someone who understands that pressure is not punishment, it is preparation, someone who bends but does not break, who adapts without abandoning themselves, who adjusts without shrinking, who feels the weight but still carries it forward, someone who may feel fear but moves anyway, because courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. It is action taken with shaking hands. It is saying yes with a trembling voice. It is stepping forward while your mind lists every possible reason to step back. So, write it. Not casually, not distracted. Write it with intention. Declare it, as if you are signing a contract with your future self. Own it, as if there is no alternative. And then pay attention, not just to what changes around you, but to what changes within you. Watch what begins to shift inside you first. Your posture, your energy, your decisions, your standards. Watch how you start speaking differently, thinking differently, responding differently. Watch how the same obstacles that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable, because belief changes behavior, and behavior changes outcomes. Watch what happens when you finally give yourself permission to believe, permission to succeed, permission to expand, permission to receive, permission to outgrow the old story that said you couldn't. Because your breakthrough is not approaching from a distance. It is not some distant reward dangling in the future. It is not months away, waiting for a perfect timing. It is not waiting for you to become someone else. It has been waiting for you to recognize who you already are becoming. It's here, in the discipline you built, in the resilience you earned, in the boundaries you learned to set, in the courage you practice daily. It's here in the way you think differently now, in the way you no longer tolerate what once drained you, in the way you keep choosing growth, even when comfort calls your name. Your breakthrough is not an event. It is an identity shift, and it is waiting for you to step into it. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when doubt disappears. Now, waiting for you to walk through the door that has been open this whole time, waiting for you to claim what has already been forming around you, waiting for you to finally say, "I am not going back." And when you do, you'll realize something powerful. You were never chasing the breakthrough. You were becoming it.